Did you enjoy your Christmas, Oxford fans? Did you have a good Christmas day? I hope you did. Because, this Boxing Day was a bit tough. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another review of this Oxford United season. Today, United on Boxing Day were away to Ipswich Town, and a lot has been talked about this Oxford United 10-game unbeaten run in all competitions. A lot of draws in there, and a lot of missed opportunities, not least last weekend against Sheffield Wednesday. But today we came up against a real acid test. One of the sides second in the league, really strong Ipswich Town side, and we were well beaten. We were hammered by this Ipswich side today, as big a beating as I've seen Oxford take in, as have taken in a long time. So full credit to Ipswich on that one, and very sadly for Oxford United, it ended Ipswich Town 3, Oxford United 0. Not a lot of love lost between Oxford United fans and Ipswich Town fans. I know in particular Ipswich Town fans seem to really hate us. So you'll be loving this one today, and I know you will. And congratulations to your side. You completely outplayed us today. There's no even sugarcoating that. It could have even been worse than 3-0. Let's be honest about it. But we've played everybody now in League One, barring Barnsley. We've played pretty much everyone. So we have a little judge of how good League One is. And I think we can agree it's a pretty average league. There's a lot of average sides in there. Oxford are certainly one of those average sides. I'm not deluded to think we're anything more than that at the moment. But Ipswich, along with Plymouth, are certainly easily the two best sides we have played this season so far, and it's no surprise why those two are right up the top of the league. Ipswich Town fans, you should be really proud of your side, and you should be really proud of the job that Kieran McKenna's doing. He's assembled a really strong Ipswich Town side, easily the strongest side we've come up against since we've been in League One against you. I'm just going to run over some team news, and I'm going to talk about the game, and I'm going to give some player ratings, so stick around for that. They ain't going to be good, as you can imagine. But a few changes for Oxford United, not least and probably biggest is Simon Eastwood got a slight injury, which meant Ed McGinty came in goal. First league start for McGinty, so that obviously is good for him, but very, very nervy for Oxford United. Elliot Moore back in defence, which is good. He played centre-back alongside Finley. Moore pushed to right back. Anderson pushed up more to a right wing role. Lewis Bate was ill, so he came out of the side, which meant Marcus Brown played in like a 10 or attacking midfield role, with two holding midfield players of Brannigan and McGuane. 4 changes for Ipswich Town from the side that got Wycombe against Wycombe, and boy, we know how that feels. That is a tough defeat to take. Donassian, Wolfenden, Evans and Harness came back into the side, and if that isn't the strongest Ipswich Town side they can put out, it's pretty much as close as can be. So while we played a Sheffield Wednesday side last week with a lot of injuries in the Owls lineup, we didn't get that luck today with the Tractor Boys, and they made full advantage of it. But weirdly enough, I don't think Oxford started this game too bad. We've been starting games quite well on the front foot recently, and this one was another one. I thought Javan Anderson nearly gifted Ipswich a goal in the first minute, but then had a chance which hit the sort of stanchion or the frame behind the goal. It looked for a moment it went in, but that was a long-range effort, we know from him. A good long-range effort from Bowden forced Walton into a save, but there was just no one there to get in the rebound. But then little bit of bad news for Oxford United. Marcus Brown went down injured with a hamstring injury. He's not had a lot of luck with injuries throughout his career. Hopefully it's not too bad. We're probably not going to see him for a few weeks now. Not been in the greatest of form, but a big difference for him with him playing as opposed to who came on. James Henry came on, and really Oxford lacked a lot of pace in their side with Bowden, Henry and Taylor leading the line. There was one nice move, though, when they came on, and Bowden, who actually I thought played quite well today, his hold-up play was quite good, and he got into a bit of space, got the ball to Henry. Henry got the ball out to Taylor. It was a good effort from Matty Taylor, but the shot just spun just wide of the goal rather than going in. Again, it looked like one of those ones that hit the side netting, so I thought for a moment it had gone in, but it didn't actually go in. But then once we got past the 20-minute mark, Ipswich started to really impose themselves a bit more on this Oxford side, and you started to see they got into their passing rhythm, and there were large periods of this game where Oxford just couldn't get the ball off them, and Ipswich were pretty much toying with Oxford United. Chaplin, Harness got the ball in so many dangerous areas. They always had Burns, they always had Davis on the overlap. Ladapo was pretty good foil up front as well. The likes of Evans and Morsley controlled that midfield battle, and Oxford really just felt very, very penned in and couldn't do anything about it. And the pressure just slowly started to ramp up. Ladapo had a free header from a corner, but McGinty actually did make a good save on this one. And then 10 minutes later, the pressure finally told. It was very avoidable from an Oxford United point of view, but it was dominant play by Ipswich. Burns got a cross into Chaplin. He was unmarked in the box, and his volley was straight at McGinty. It was hard hit, but McGinty couldn't hold on to it. I don't think that's a very good bit of goalkeeping from Ed McGinty. And Ladapo was right there from a tap-in. And Oxford had done all right until that point, but that goal massively changed everything. Ipswich were on a real head of steam. Oxford just couldn't get out of it. We desperately needed half-time. We only needed to go in 1-0 down, but we didn't. And Ipswich's second goal came 44 minutes on the clock. Just so much pressure, so many corners and chances, and possession around our penalty area finally told. Davis with a great corner in. Burns got away from Brannigan at the near post and volleyed it. Really nice finish into the corner. Oxford went in 2-0 down, and we were in an absolute tailspin. We were all over the place, and you were just hoping that Robinson could sort it out at half-time. He made some changes. He brought the likes of Josh Murphy on. He brought the likes of Yannick Vilcher on and O'Donker, but it didn't really change the tide too much. It really still felt Ipswich were the ones in control of this one. It was just a matter of whether if Oxford could just maybe nick a goal, it might make it nervy, but it never looked likely. Ipswich had the better chances in this second half again. Harness blazed the ball over from the edge of the box after another neat passing move where Oxford couldn't get near Ipswich really. And a great whipping ball in from the left-hand side, and Burns just couldn't get his header on it. Looked like he was slightly being pushed away. And then Ipswich could have had a penalty late in the game when it looked like a foul on Wes Burns as well. But there were a couple of half chances. There was one little half chance where Sam Long nearly got in, won the ball back in the Ipswich penalty area but couldn't make anything of it. And then the one mistake Walton did make, he collided with Donasian, I think, and the ball fell to Bowden. But again, he couldn't make anything of it. But we didn't really see any concrete Oxford chances, and then Ipswich did finally kill the game off. It was Connor Chaplin who had a fine game. Aluko had come off the bench in acres of space in midfield. Why is no Oxford player near him? Chaplin in acres of space in the edge of our box. Why is no Oxford player near him? And he smashes it into the bottom corner. A very sorry Oxford United performance, and I just can't stress enough that this is one of the biggest beatings we've taken in a while in terms of on the pitch and the scoreline, and we really need to bounce back now. Once again, full credit to Ipswich Town. But let's move on to some what will be very brutal player ratings. Starting with Ed McGinty in goal, feel a bit sorry for him. He's not really ready to play at this level. He gets a 5 out of 10. He made some decent saves, but he looks frightened. He looks scared, and he made mistakes. And the mistake for the first goal cost Oxford United. It's harsh, but he gets a 5. Kieran Brown, you're gonna see a lot of this scoreline. Kieran Brown gets a 5. Again, you saw the usual effort and determination from Brown. He did make a lot of good challenges, but he was up against it, and there was time and time again Ipswich got in down that right-hand side. Wes Burns just gave him a torrid afternoon, as did people like Donasian and Evans and Chaplin. Just gave Oxford no joy. Kieran Brown, 5 out of 10. I don't think Stuart Finley did too bad in defence either. I think he won a lot of headers. I think he, won a lot of tackles and a lot of challenges. I don't think it's his fault for the defeat, but, I can't give him a good grade. He gets a 5. That's the same for Elliot Moore. Again, I don't think he was too bad. I do think he made some good blocks. He made some good challenges, but, they were well beaten, so 5 out of 10. One slight nudge above is Sam Long. I thought Sam Long had an excellent game. I thought Devon Anderson didn't help him at all in the first half, but there were many times where Long was able to get back and, make blocks, make challenges. He was up against arguably one of the best left backs in the league, or left wing backs in Davis. And Davis did cause him trouble, as did Harness. But I thought Long stuck to his task. I thought he tried to get forward when he could as well. So I'm going to give Long a 6. Brannigan gets a 4. I don't think he's a holding midfield player. I don't know why he's in there. He went missing for large periods in this second half. He never seems to get on the ball very much and control or dictate the pace. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh on him, but I barely seem to mention his name in the second half. He gets a 4. Marcus McGuane doesn't get much better, but the fact he is more more of a holding midfield player. And I do think in the first half, he did make some key blocks and some key challenges. And I do think there was a couple of times that he did look more composed than Brannigan in midfield. So he gets a slight improvement of a 5. Can't give Marcus Brown a grade because he came off early in the game. But James Henry came on after 12 minutes, went off after 60. I think he did one decent thing in the game where he laid a chance on for Taylor. But other than that, he looked off the pace and he looked like he didn't deserve to be at this level, which is really harsh. And that's just maybe more down to Ipswich being better than the level he should be playing at. But James Henry, I can only give you a 3. There was a couple of good runs from Jevon Anderson in the first half. There was one good shot that he had and a couple of good moves where he tried to get down the wing with some pace, but he was far too often out of position and left long, high and dry many times. He was hooked off at half time, so he gets a 4. I thought Billy Bowden arguably was Oxford's best player. So sometimes he got on the ball and he did some pretty neat things, some neat footwork. He had some good skill. And he, had a good shot in the first half and put in some decent crosses. And at least he looked more likely that he was going to make something happen than pretty much anyone else out there. So he didn't have a great game, but he gets a 6. A lot of Matty Taylor bashing up there in this game, but what do you expect him to do when they give him nothing? He did create some chances in this game, and I thought his hold-up play was actually okay, but he drifted out of the game. The more and more Oxford just lost control of it. He got less and less off the ball, and he was pretty much non-existent by the end. So I don't think he deserves the criticism. He's not scoring goals, but I can only give him a 5. Josh Murphy came on at half-time and didn't really do anything. I think he tried to get on the ball, he tried to make some runs, tried to make some passes, but we haven't seen anything really of him. And, he needs to kind of repay us Oxford fans still after that penalty miss last weekend. But he got minutes in his legs, so 5. Yannick Wiltshire, same again, which I've just said about Murphy, barring missing chances. Didn't really do much, looked promising and want to see more of him, and he got minutes in his legs, so 5. And Gatlin O'Donkor ran around a bit, made a nuisance of himself, but was probably about as effective as Matty Taylor was, which I'm not really being mean to him. It's not really his fault. Oxford were well beaten today. He gets a 5 as well. And that brings us to the boss man, Carl Robinson. Look, I mean, I've given the side such a low grade. I can only give Carl Robinson a 5 as well. I don't think he could have really set a side up too much more. I don't think the sub of Henry was great when he came on, but I think he thought Henry might give us a bit of control. That didn't really work. And he did try and change things in the second half, but Oxford just never really got control of it. And I just, I don't really think it was his fault. I think that kind of just more showed the level of where this team is, as opposed to where a side is that's pushing for automatic promotion this season. But I can't give him a good grade, so I'm going to give him a 5. And my final thoughts on this game is obviously it is miserable and it is really, really tough to take and it's a bad beating, but it's important to see how Oxford United bounce back from this against Charlton on Thursday night. It's a home game. I hope there'll be a decent crowd and I hope we do get to see more of Yannick Wiltshire and Josh Murphy, because I think they will provide the little bits of sparks that Oxford United just need. We really need a win. We need a victory in this game. We've had so many kind of meh draws, and today was a real kick in the teeth. That was a kick up the backside. But I think it also hopefully showed, if the board of directors are watching with a January transfer window around the corner, how much strengthening this Oxford United side needs. Because Ipswich Town are pushing for promotion, no doubt about it. And we talk about it, but when you look at those two sides on the pitch, we were nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. And if you look at those two 11s in there today, and I know Oxford have got a couple of players out, you look at those two 11s, how many Oxford players would have got into that Ipswich Town side? I don't think there was one. But I'm sure you'll all tell me all about it, and I'm sure you'll tell me how Carl Robinson is terrible and Matty Taylor's lost it and James Henry doesn't deserve to wear the shirt and all that jazz. But I'll just say one more thing again. Ipswich Town, well done. Congratulations to you. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the game and the season and whether you think this is going to be the season when you go up. Thanks very much for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe and all that stuff. And I'll be back for a review of the Charlton game. Whew! Hopefully it'll be better. It can't really be much worse.